Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this week's practice. The bhavana for today is meet the moment or be prepared to be surprised. Both are equally applicable and help to capture the same idea. In essence, it's really valuable for us to remember that life very rarely shows up the way that we expect it to. And it very often will throw surprises into our path that are intended to help us grow, to become that much better equipped, to prepare us for whatever is coming next. So this practice is oriented toward expanding a little bit our capacity to be with whatever life chooses to share with us, chooses to place on our path. And in large part, that preparation includes not only expansion, but also the willing, conscious digestion of everything that has come before. Much of the time, our challenges lie in, the challenges we face in facing our challenges, if that makes any sense, lies in our clinging, our attachment to what has come before, and the stagnation, the stuckness that clinging can cause us. When we are still, investing our time and our energy in processing what has come before, then we fail to be prepared for what is coming next. Everything that has come before is there as a training ground and as fertilizer for future growth, future expansion, and future obstacles that we will be called to overcome. So in terms of methodology, the primary method that we're going to be returning to again and again is Agnisara and Uddiyana Bandha. These are both excellent for helping us to not only digest and assimilate, but then to also start to move energy in the direction of our future growth, expansion, evolution. We will also engage with some breath and some postures that are going to help us to kind of stretch this area of digestion. So it's not all coming in. It's also opening up, expanding, creating space. I'm going to adjust the angle of my camera slightly, and then we're going to get going. So we'll start on our feet today. With a little bit of movement just to kind of shake things up a little bit. So start to just kind of bounce on your heels a little. Intentionally loosening things up, shaking things up, jostling, bouncing. We're going to keep doing this for the next 20 to 30 seconds. So if you want to add anything to make it a bit more playful or fun, or just exploratory, you are welcome to. Try to loosen your jaw, maybe flutter your lips. A couple of sighs. If anything starts to arise, be with it, and then let it go. Good. And let this start to transition into a little bit of a shake of the hands. And start to deepen the breath, inviting the breath to become more expansive. Swing the arms, Let this start to open up through the chest and the belly, as well as the upper back. Let the arms cross in front of you, alternating which arm is on top. The elbows will bend, and on exhale, we'll let out a ha sound. Ha, 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 ha. Very good. From here, place the fingertips on top of the shoulders. Start to take the elbows around in a few big circles. Switch directions. Good. Let that go. Loose fists, bent elbows, palms facing up, feet a little bit wider, toes spread and angled open slightly. Little twists. Keep the head centered as long as that's okay with your neck. Good, and start to wind that down. Let the arms swing out to the sides, and then cross one in front, one behind as you swivel the torso to that side. And then switch. Again, let it be light and playful. Just enjoying the sensation of the body moving through space. Once more to each side. And then back through to the center. Stand on one leg and shake the other, and just alternate from side to side a few times. Never likes to stay put. Feet more or less parallel, wider than hip distance, a little bounce in the knees, and just start to shift the hips from side to side. We'll add a little arm movement. So as you shift to the right side, for example, the right shoulder will roll back. And then same thing to the other side. Once more to each side. And then start to take the pelvis around in some big circles. Try to keep the joints soft, especially the knees. Switch directions when you're ready. Come back through to the center. Keep the feet on the ground, but keep them soft and supple, and then just invite a little quiver and quake into the legs. Allow that to move up through the body. About 10 more seconds. Let it be whatever it wants to be. A little more vigorous for 3, 2, 1. And then find some stillness and just notice. Can you meet this moment exactly as it is? Feet a little wider than hip distance, toes angled open slightly. Place the hands on the knees. Give yourself a moment here with the arms locked so that the shoulders are going to start to lift up toward the chin, creating some additional space between the vertebrae. The weight of the pelvis is drawing the lower spine down and back. And then just start to shift the hips gently side to side, stretching into the sides of the pelvis, the sides of the belly and ribs. And then begin to take the pelvis around in circles and notice what's happening in the space of the belly as you do. Try to keep the jaw and the face relaxed and the belly pliable. So sometimes a little tension will come in, a little contraction, and then see if it can be released. Finding a bit of a rhythm of squeeze and soften. Switch directions. And then come back through to neutral. We'll start to play with the movement of Agnisara, keeping our awareness in the space of the belly, but that will stretch all the way from the solar plexus or the sternum to the pelvis. So if you think of that as the belly, and then find sort of the center point of that more generalized space. Okay, so starting with the movement here, similar to cow and cat, on inhale, draw the collarbones and the sternum forward, lift the crown and the tail. And on exhale, start to round the spine. Gently hugging, squeezing up and in, tucking the chin. Inhale, open up, draw the collarbones forward, maybe roll the shoulders back, stretch through the abdomen. Exhale, round the spine, creating a gentle contraction in the space of the belly. Keep going at your own pace for about 30 more seconds. Choose to be as present as you can be. Notice where there is a temptation to shift into autopilot or potentially to ignore or override sensation. Rather than either of those options, do your best to meet the moment exactly as it is. About 2 more repetitions, and then make your way back to Tadasana. In Tadasana, just notice we'll move into some sun salutations, Surya Namaskara A, and see if you can keep your awareness oriented toward this oscillation between expansion and contraction, specifically through the space of the belly. On the inhale, sweep the arms forward to come up, and on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. Inhale to rock forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale to hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale back to the hands and the knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the knees, look toward the hands. Exhale, step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Enjoy one breath in Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. Feel free to modify your sun salutations. Exhale, fold. Let them be whatever you need them to be. Inhale, lift halfway, but try to refrain from shifting to autopilot. Exhale to plank. Be present. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower. I'll talk you through this round and then I'll lead you to it. Inhale to cobra, expanding. Exhale, release. A little contraction in the belly. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, back to the hands and the knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look toward the hands. Exhale, step to the top. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Enjoy a breath in Tadasana. Two more rounds on your own. When you find yourself in Tadasana, remain for a few breaths. And again, choose to meet the moment exactly as it is. Are you bringing anything from the past into the present? Or anticipating anything from the future? Moving on, inhale to Utkatasana. Exhale, lightly sweep the left arm down and back, little twist. Inhale, sweep that arm forward and up. Exhale, right arm down and back, another little twist. We're gonna go back and forth a few times. Inhale, sweep forward and up. Exhale, left arm down and back. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, right arm down and back. Once more to each side. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, left foot back for warrior one. Sweep the arms to the ears. Inhale, rise. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Sweep the arms down by your sides. Inhale, bend the knee, arms up. Exhale, stay as you are, just twist to the right. So right arm comes down and back, similar twist to Utkatasana. Inhale, sweep that right arm forward to come up. Exhale, straighten the leg, forward fold, back to down dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up. Exhale, lunge the foot through, warrior one. Inhale, arms to the ears, then rise. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, back to your warrior. Stay in the warrior. On the exhale, twist to the left. Left arm sweeping down and back. Inhale, sweep that left arm forward to come up. Both arms rising. Exhale, straighten the leg, fold forward, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, back to Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, soft knees, right foot back, warrior one. Inhale, arms to the ears, then rise. Exhale, straighten the left leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, back to your warrior. Exhale, twist to the left. Good. Inhale, back to the warrior. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg floats up and back. Exhale, lunge the foot through, warrior one. Inhale, arms to the ears, then rise. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, rebend the knee, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward, both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Once more to each side. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, soft knees, left foot back. Establish your warrior. Inhale, arms to the ears, rise. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, rebend the knee, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to your warrior. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, lunge the foot through. Inhale, rise for your warrior. Exhale, straighten the left leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, back to the warrior. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to your warrior. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, back to Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, soft knees, right foot back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, straighten the left leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, rebend the knee, arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, sweep the left arm forward and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, lunge the foot through. Inhale, rise. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms by your sides. Inhale, rebend the knee, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward to come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold and stay for a few breaths. Soften the knees if you'd like. Release the weight of the head and shoulders. Breathe. Meet the moment. Exactly as it is. Bend the right knee a bit more deeply. Place the right hand down either on the floor or on a block, on the fingertips possibly, and start to lift about halfway and then peel the left rib cage and shoulder open. Maybe the arm extends from the shoulder. Maybe it drapes behind the back. You can also place it on the heart center, whatever works best in your body. Creating space and compression simultaneously. Breathe for 3. 2. 1 more inhale. On the exhale, gently release. Let the right leg go towards straight. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold and stay for a breath or 2. Meet the moment. Good. Start to bend your left knee a bit more deeply. Left hand will stay down, maybe on the floor, maybe on a block. Start to lift the spine about halfway and roll the right side of the rib cage and shoulder girdle open. Again, the arm can extend from the shoulder. It can drape behind the back. You can place the palm on the heart or the belly. Whatever works best in your body. Breathe for 3. 2. 1 more inhale. Exhale, release. Left leg goes back towards straight. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to Utkatasana. Exhale, sink a bit more deeply into your chair. Press down through the feet. Inhale, rise. Lift through the wrists. Press the hips gently forward. Exhale, Tadasana. Just breathe. Back to Agnisara. Adding a couple of subtle elements here. Similar movement, same movement, but an invitation to bring a pause at the bottom of each exhale. And during that pause, a concentration of an upward-inward coalescing of energy in the center of the space of the belly. Similarly, we're going to be on those exhales, lifting through the soles of the feet, lifting through the inner thigh, the inside of the knee, all the way up through the pelvic floor. So you're pulling that energy up and in, drawing it down and in, concentrating it at the center space of the belly, specifically on those pauses at the end of exhale. Find your starting position. So feet a little wider than hip distance, toes angled open, just enough to give you a little bit more stability and to loosen up a little bit more through the pelvis. Arms are going to stay basically locked, but you can play with that as needed. 3 rounds of just the movement, the cow and cat-like movement. With your inhale, draw the collarbones forward, lift the crown tail. And with your exhale, reverse that, rounding the spine, hugging the belly up and in, tucking the chin. So just the movement with the breath. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round the spine. Maybe think about that upward and inward pull through the soles of the feet, through the heels, thighs, pelvic floor. Inhale, open up. Once more like that before we add the suspension of the breath at the bottom of the exhale. Okay. Inhale, open up, create expansion. Exhale, round the spine, draw upward and inward through the legs, downward and inward through the head. Pause the breath at the bottom of the exhale. Release any contraction, then inhale and open up. Keep going, just play, experiment, see what's presenting itself in this moment. Let go of any expectations of the experience based on your past. And just be with what is. Let go of any expected outcomes that this is supposed to yield in your future. And just be with what is. Once more. And when you have concluded, come back to Tadasana. Again, meet the moment. When you're ready, inhale, let the arms float up. Exhale, let the arms float down and back and around, and then soften into a forward fold. If you have a hard time bringing your hands toward the ground, then have blocks handy. You do not need to have straight legs for this, but you do need to have strong legs, active legs. Hands can either be on blocks, they can be on the ground. If it's available, maybe take a toe lock. Try to create a little bit more length through the back of the neck. And we'll just work with the movement first, and then we'll add the breath. So a little bit of Uddiyana once we get there. On the inhale, you're going to lift halfway, coming into an extension, and exhale, forward fold. Okay, just that one more time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, empty the lungs. Scoop the belly up and in, hold the breath out, again lift halfway. Back to your fold. Relax the belly. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Hold the breath out, Uddiyana Bandha. Lift halfway. Fold. Relax the belly. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Uddiyana Bandha, lift halfway. Fold. Relax the Bandha. Inhale, lift halfway. Keep going at your own pace. Once more. Take a moment to acclimate in the fold. Release any tension in the neck, the throat, the shoulders. Put a bend into the knees, root down through the feet. Inhale, rise. Lift the shoulders toward the ears. Exhale, keep the shoulders lifted, release the arms. Keep the chin tucked slightly. Gradually release the shoulders and let the head rise. Meet the moment. And come onto the floor. Knees bent, lie all the way on your back as though you're setting up for bridge, because you are. But give yourself a moment to just acclimate. Let your head just roll from side to side. and back to center. Good. Arms by your sides, palms facing down. Inhale, lift the pelvis and sweep the arms overhead. And exhale, roll down. Brief pause at the bottom before the next in-breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll down. Brief pause at the bottom. Inhale, lift, pelvis and arms. Exhale, lower just the arms. And as you're holding the breath out, roll the spine down. Inhale, lift the pelvis and arms. Exhale, lower the arms. Hold the breath out, roll the spine down. Two more times. As the spine rolls down, feel the pelvic floor lift. And relax. Draw your thighs in towards your belly, place the hands on the knees, and start to take the knees around in circles away from each other. Relax through the pelvic floor, relax through the belly. Switch directions. Place the feet back down on the mat, but bring them to the outer edges. Let the arms come out to the sides. Inhale here with both knees pointing up. On the exhale, lower just the left knee toward the right ankle, and the right knee will fold inward as well. Inhale, lift both knees back up. Exhale, lower just the right knee toward the left ankle, and then the left knee will roll in as well. Inhale, both knees up. Exhale, lower the left knee in, right knee will roll in as well. Inhale, both knees up. Exhale, lower the right knee, and left knee will roll in as well. And again, inhale, both knees up. We'll go once more to each side, but we'll linger a little bit longer. Exhale, internally rotating, first the left thigh, then the right. And then hang out here for a few breaths. Inhale, lift both knees. Exhale, rotate the right thigh internally and bend the left. Just be here for a few breaths. Inhale, both knees up. Exhale, just relax. Bring the feet a little bit closer in until they're about hip distance. Shift the hips to the left a few centimeters. Stretch the right leg straight. Draw your left thigh in. Place the sole of the foot on your right. Take an inhale here to prepare for a twist. And on the exhale, rotate the pelvis to the right, the chin to the left. Inhale, back up through to the center. And exhale again into that twist. Once more dynamically, then we'll stay. Bring awareness into the space of the belly. And breathe. Inhale back through to the center. On the exhale, both feet come to the floor. Bring the pelvis back into a neutral alignment. And give yourself a moment, either with the knees bent or in Shavasana. Meet that moment. With the knees bent, shift the hips a few centimeters to the right. Stretch the left leg long. Place the sole of the right foot on top of your left thigh. Arms to the sides. Inhale to prepare for a twist. Exhale, lower the pelvis to the left, the chin to the right. Inhale back through to the center. Exhale, return to the twist. Once more, inhale, center. And exhale, come back to your twist. Find the variation of this posture that allows you to sustain and surrender. Awareness in the space of the belly. Experience the breath. Inhale, come out of the twist. Exhale, use both feet on the ground to bring the pelvis back to neutral alignment. And again, a few breaths here, either with the knees bent or in Shavasana. Meet the moment. Draw the thighs in toward the belly. Take a hold of the back side of the thighs. And then either just gently rock here and then roll onto one side to come up to a seated position, or rock and roll all the way up and down the length of the spine. And after about 10 seconds or so, we'll meet in a cross-legged seat. In your cross-legged seat, once you get there, give yourself an inhale to just find a little more space in the spine, lifting up out of the hips. And then exhale, softly hinge forward. Three more breaths. On the next inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Meet the moment. Extend the legs out in front of you and give them a little shake. Recross the legs with the opposite to the front. Inhale again, find a little more space in the spine. And exhale, fold. 3 more breaths. With the next inhale, rise. Exhale, relax, and again, meet the moment exactly as it is. Straighten the legs out in front of you once again. Give them a little shake. Bend the knees, place the feet on the outer edges of the mat. Let both knees lower to the left, and then follow around to the left, coming into a bit of a twist. Inhale, lift up and out of the twist. Exhale, remain neutral. Another in-breath. Exhale, let the knees lower to the right and follow around to find your twist. Inhale, lift up and out of the twist. Exhale, remain neutral. Extend the legs one last time. Inhale, find a little bit more space in the spine. Exhale, fold. Take a hold of whatever is available. Maybe it's the feet, ankles, calves, thighs, or the outer edges of the mat. Inhale to find a little bit more length. Exhale, gently fold a bit more deeply. Hold the breath out at the bottom of the exhale and then pull back, finding extension in the spine. Relax, then inhale. Exhale, fold. So same idea, now implementing Uddiyana Bandha on that pause after exhale. So as you're pulling the spine back, holding the breath out, lift through the pelvic floor, scoop the belly up and in. Keep the back of the neck long. Relax. Inhale. 3 more times. Be gentle. On the next exhale, just fold, be soft, enjoy a few easy breaths. Once again, meeting the moment. When you're ready on an inhale, come back to Dandasana. Exhale, relax into this spinal extension. Be here now. Free of the influence of both the past and the future. And prepare to lie down. So as we shift into Shavasana, listen to what your body might be wanting or needing. And over the next minute or so, give yourself whatever it is that you need. Move intuitively. Or intuitively move toward stillness. As you soften into Shavasana, once again, draw awareness to the space of the belly, all the way from the solar plexus or the base of the sternum into the pelvic bowl. And invest your mind as fully as possible into the experience of the breath. Continuing to rest awareness in the space of the belly. Allow the breath to become increasingly subtle. But notice that as the body breathes in, all forms of energy are drawn to the navel center. And as the body breathes out, this energy is transformed and redistributed. That simple. Inhale, energy is drawn in. With exhale, that energy is transformed and redistributed. Let go of that as well. Continue to rest awareness effortlessly in the space of the belly. Resting in that process of internal transformation. Invite awareness back to the space of the belly. Back to that center of transformation, absorption, dissolution, and redistribution. And bring awareness back to the breath and invite it to gradually grow full. Re-energizing body and mind. Play with some simple movement in the fingers, toes, hands, and feet. Stretch in any way that feels good to you, that feels useful. When you're ready, roll to one side and curl into a fetal position. In that fetal position, if there is anything from the past or any anticipated outcomes for the future that you might be better served leaving behind, let them die at least a little bit and stay in the land of Shavasana, so that when you rise to your comfortable seat, you do so a little less hindered. When you're ready, rise and meet the moment. Find your way to your seat, to steadiness and ease. And bring awareness once again to the belly. Establish your healthy breathing. Maintaining awareness in the space of the belly. An invitation to play with a mantra here. The mantra with the power to transform that which we perceive as an obstacle into an opportunity. And to help the ghosts that haunt us evolve into our spirit guides. And that mantra is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And stay with that mantra internally. Awareness absorbed in the mantra in the space of the belly. Continuing to internally merge with the mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Perhaps begin to sense that little bubbles of wisdom, insight begin to rise from the belly up to the space of the head. Little bubbles, one at a time, like pockets of air ascending in a glass of water. Until eventually awareness has shifted one little bubble at a time from the space of the belly to the space of the head. The mantra continues. Maintaining this wisdom and insight in the space of the head. Draw awareness back to the belly. Unclench, release, detach, and allow whatever remains in the space of the belly to be drawn down toward Muladhara, down and released. Continuing with the mantra. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. It's back to the space of the belly. And experience this center of energy as free and clear and unobstructed. Ready to meet the moment. Prepared to be surprised. Informed by the wisdom of the spirit guides. And no longer hindered by the ghosts that hunt. Enjoy a few more full breaths, beginning to transition awareness back to the external world. Maybe place the hands on the belly. And bow the head in acknowledgement of the force that resides here. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Rub the palms. Place the palms over the eyes for another breath or two. And when you're ready, let the eyes flutter open and remove the hands from the face. Couple of reflection questions before I let you go. Can you sense ways in which your past has prepared you to meet the present? And can you sense the ways in which your present is preparing you to meet your future? Similar, how can you help facilitate the transformation of the ghosts that haunt you into your spirit guides?